I've got the best Senate district in Florida. I have 173 miles of the best and most beautiful beaches, the most wonderful coastline in America, from Pensacola to the other side of Panama City. But what this also means is that it is the area which could be the prime venue for offshore drilling in Florida sovereign waters, as well as in federal waters, depending upon the legislation that Congress might consider and legislation that may come out of the Florida legislature. And in Northwest Florida, there's divided opinion.
Well, give us a hint about how divided that is and how unusual some of the constituencies are over there. I mean, you think about this as primarily an environmental issue, but it's certainly a financial issue, and it could affect some unusual groups, perhaps like the military in your area.
Indeed. Well, I think all of us would like to be far less dependent on countries and people around the world who hate America and who have us by the noose of our dependence on foreign oil. Nobody wants to keep that condition going on. Everybody wants to change it. Everybody's for energy independence. And I think we have to look at domestic exploration and domestic production capabilities everywhere that we can. But in Northwest Florida, along our Gulf Coast, we have environmental issues, of course. Tourism is a huge industry for us. People come from all over the world to enjoy the most beautiful beaches in America in Northwest Florida. And there are those who believe that if there's an oil well or an oil derrick or a gas line anywhere within 200 or 300 or 400 miles, that the world will come to an end. Well, that has to be debated in the context of new technology that's available that allows undersea exploration without a bunch of oil derricks poking up above the waves. Now, that relates to another issue that's critical for Northwest Florida. Aside from 173 miles of beautiful coastline, I have 5 military bases in my district in Northwest Florida. And so Northwest Florida depends upon not just tourism, but depends upon the military for its economic engines. The biggest economic driver in Northwest Florida is the military and the industries that relate to the military. And historically, the Air Force has taken a cautious view of additional oil and gas exploration in what's called the Eglin Range. And that's about 40% of the Gulf of Mexico that is closest to the Florida Peninsula. So the Air Force does an extraordinary amount of testing and training and evaluation in the Eglin Test Range. Then you've got the Navy that has a significant presence in Northwest Florida as well, and they do operations beneath the waves. So we have to make sure, as we look at a specific proposal for oil and gas drilling and exploration and refining, that it doesn't compromise the military missions upon which our economy is based. Believe me, there are people in Washington like Nancy Pelosi and Harry Reid and even John McCain who would love to pick off our military missions and bases and move them west to where there's lots of desert. And we don't want that to happen. We want to defend our military bases and our military missions, make sure that the economic underpinning of Northwest Florida, billions of dollars, tens of thousands of jobs, are not compromised. Now, can the two relate? Can the two live together? Exploration and the military? That's what we're working on. We're working on how we can balance those needs and make sure that we can take a step toward energy independence, at the same time not compromising the military missions that feed and clothe the families and businesses of Northwest Florida.